as far as like inspirations, like I think comic books became the medium for me just because seeing what these artists and writers created and how they told, like with their talents, I was just very impressed to the point of where I wanted to do something like that. I wanted to be able to create my own character, just be able to tell a story with that. And I think for me, I've always just admired drawing what was in my mind. I actually never was into coloring books. I know everyone was like always had a coloring book, and no, like to me, I was always fascinated with just drawing whatever I thought of and creating something with that. As far as style, it's very much like a graphic, comic booky style. And again, that's how when I was growing up, that's how like what I've read. Like I read Spider-Man and Batman. Usually what I've noticed, because as I keep growing as an artist, I tend to have it be like a cartoonish but realistic style. Because obviously like there's artists that I admire who can make it like realistic looking, and as much as I would love to have it be realistic, like Alex Ross, I know I can't get to that, but like at the same time, from what I grew up with, I think like just a simple cartoon style is fine. And even then, like there's so many different interpretations out there in comic books, or even just like in books in general, that I think as long as like you bring your own style or interpretation to it, then it works just as well. So one of my teachers, Jerry Holbert, he's a famous political cartoonist. I've actually trained with him, and it's like I've gotten that understanding of like how the political cartoons work, and so I've actually done a few political cartoons like high school, and it just kind of made me understand like how that works and everything. And I mean, sometimes like I wouldn't go like, it wasn't like I was going way off with the political cartoon. I mean, it wasn't technically political cartoons, it was more school political cartoons. But still, like I kind of like just got that understanding of like what exactly you do in those circumstances and everything. But I took classes with him in high school, so it was definitely cool to have that experience, especially with someone who is very known in the political cartoon world and everything. And that was cool. And Jerry Holbert really was a really great teacher and whatnot, and that really like helped me, because I think it made a lot of sense, because like obviously he works a lot with cartoons, and again, that's where I think for me that comes with like cartoons and realism, because with his style, it is cartoony, but at the same time, like you're getting the point across of it looking a bit realistic. And that's kind of like what I want to try to have, where it's both bridging on something that looks cartoony, but also that looks just as real. Jerry's an absolutely great guy, so I highly recommend checking out his work wherever you can. I usually kind of lean towards, and I keep with me, is my character from my book called Terror of Mummy Rock. It's one of my favorite characters, because I have a beach house up in Hampton, and there's this rock formation near it that whole area has dubbed Mummy Rock, and I've always just loved that like name and everything. And I'm also a big fan of like the B movies and everything, so I wanted to see something in like to combine those, and to kind of create my own B movie monster. And when I was graduating senior year, we had to do a senior project, and basically I decided to do like, I'm gonna make some rough draft of my book, so I can tell people what the process is, as well as, just show people what I can do. So I made the book, and right now it's the book that I do have is a prototype. I consider it a prototype because it's not to what, like, I look back on it and it's still fine. It's a fun story, but like it still needs some work, and that's why actually I'm still learning, and I've started getting a lot into the digital world, the digital like art world, and I want to maybe remake that and hopefully like create that into a fuller story. And I've actually used the character, I call him Terry. He's basically a giant lobster wrapped in bandages, and I've basically decided to put him in different situations. Like I did for one of my classes, we did like a bike competition, and I wanted to do something with sea monsters, but then I just decided, why not do Terry riding a bike, and everyone loved it, everyone loved the character, and I basically was like, yeah, no, just put Terry in different situations, and it looks great. And so, yeah, I love that character, and I definitely want to work more with that eventually. What I at least hope for is to produce my own illustrations and everything, or at least like either whether that be selling my pieces standalone, or either using them to illustrate certain stories, whether that be my own indie comic, my own like children's book or whatever, or even storyboarding. I think a lot of people have actually said to me that my style tends to work best with storyboards, or like it definitely like matches like a storyboard style, and I'm like, I can, and I'd love to do that, especially because like I'm a very visual person, and usually like whenever I have to if I'm thinking of something, or if I'm actually going to film something, I usually have to like draw it out first, because I want to like make it look good and plan how it's gonna look. So yeah, like storyboarding could work for me either way. So it could just something, as long as I can draw, that's definitely like, obviously that'd be the dream, where to be able to just draw as your career. And I know obviously comic book artists do that all the time, so it's like, I think to have a job like that would be great, and I'd love to do that with my talent. So this one actually is like a big series I want to work on, called 9 Lives, and basically it's originally it was just called Ninja Cat, but I wanted to kind of actually make it more of an epic story than like a funny story, because I know like if you see Ninja Cat it's more funny, but yeah, like I've actually like it came as a joke, really. Basically I remember someone asked me to do a commission for just like a ninja cat, and I was like, okay, and I did it, but then I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's a fun idea, like but then like I kept thinking about it more, and I was like, it'd be cool to just see have Ninja Cat go through this journey and whatnot, and I don't know, like, and that's one I've actually like really been thinking about, where it's like I wanted to have like 9 stories, maybe have him fight 9 villains or whatever, and just, I don't know, just kind of make it this epic story, where it's like the hero versus like Star Wars in a sense, where it's just good versus evil, simple as that. But I don't know, that's one where like I eventually really want to do that one, and that one would be like, I just have a basis of like Frank Miller's Sin City, like his I really admired his inking style in there, and just the heavy shadows and everything. And I kind of want to do that with this story, and not of course copy it, but just something like that, where it's just like heavy shadows, heavy blacks and everything, and just heavy lighting, and do something with that, because I think it would really match with the story I want to tell. Right now, you can find my art page on Facebook, MCG Illustrations. And then I do have a Twitter. And then I do have, there is a website in production, so that will be up soon. And then I'm gonna definitely put more on like social media, like there's an Instagram is coming. And also you can, again, soon you will be able to see my work from Genesis Comics. Hopefully we get some stuff going on there. Again, I've talked with my friend DJ, and he's definitely expressed a lot of interest in my style. Other things like, again, it's really like sometimes titles that I love coming up with, and I just kind of stick with that, and then I'll think about it later. Like one that I have is called Duck Duck Noose. That one came out because one time me and my friends were watching a bad 80s movie, which is bad 80s slasher movie called Hide and Go Shriek. Dumb movie. But one of my friends said during the movie, it's just like, what's the sequel gonna be? Duck Duck Goose. And then I was just like, he goes like, no, Duck Duck Noose. And I loved that. Again, I was just like, oh my God, that's a great name. I got to keep that, and it's in there somewhere. And I'm, that's just how my thought process goes, where it's just like, I'll keep that, and then over time, like, I'll just develop it and see where it goes.